Oh, they're loving it. I actually get questions from parents when I do readings at like libraries. And then I've also been informed, like they're telling me this is my kid's favorite story. And then, each book has a howling opportunity. So for a little family howling duo or even a group howl. So they're really liking that part of it too. And so I'm definitely getting amazing feedback from parents.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, author podcast. We get to meet amazing authors from around the world. And I love when an author has a cause, something that's super important for them, that means a lot to them, and also writes great kids stories that your kids are going to fall in love with and want to be read again and again. Read it again and again. That's what we love, is we love a great author with great stories for our kids to fall in love with. And I'm so excited to have Leokadia on the show. And we're going to be talking about her all amazing stuff. If you like wolves and like wolf pups and all kinds of great stories, you're going to love this author. Nice to have you on the podcast. Welcome to the show. Greetings. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Excellent. Tell everybody, where are you in this big world of ours?
I'm in New York, and it's actually interesting because so is the wolf, even though she is naturally, or her species is naturally from the Arizona, New Mexico area.
Okay, so we got to talk about this wolf, and for those listening, you have on your shirt, got wolves, right? There you go. You got wolves, just like got milk. I like that. That's great. Where did this passion and love affair for sanctuary for wolves and taking care of these amazingly beautiful animals, what was the start for you? How'd you get down this path?
I always have been an animal lover growing up. I was always really into animals, but it actually was my sister-in-law from Italy. She loves wolves, and when she and my brother came to visit, she actually found the sanctuary, which is technically in my backyard, and I didn't know about it, but she found it and wanted to visit. And so when I went there, I was like, this is wonderful. And I signed up to volunteer, and I've been there ever since.
So let's shout it out right off the bat. Where is this sanctuary, and what, you have a website for people to come check out?
Yeah, it's in South Salem, New York. And it's the Wolf Conservation Center. You can find their site, newyorkwolf.org. They also have a big social media presence on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, you name it.
What about wolves was like an aha thing for you that you learned that you didn't know prior to going to this sanctuary? Like, so what sort of interesting characteristics of these wolves?
Yeah, so I always knew that they're super important to the ecosystem, and that they had been hunted and endangered, but I didn't know that there were two types of wolves in this area that were critically endangered. One of them is the red wolf, and the other is Mexican gray wolves, and Trumpet is a Mexican gray wolf. And I was kind of shocked. I thought I was pretty up to date on, environmental stuff, and to kind of learn that, I was like, oh, wow. So I'm hoping to get the message out in this fashion too.
So unlike Little Red Riding Hood, this is not a story about a bad wolf who's trying to wreck somebody's day. We have a totally different story here, right?
That's true. I really did want to paint more of a realistic picture of wolves as a family unit, wolves that don't want to interact with humans and try to stay as far away from humans as possible, which has been my experience with the wolves that are not raised by humans. They just want to run away, be as far away from humans as possible.
And what about how wolves interact with each other? What kind of stuff have you learned about them and how they do their family units and all of that? We have the wolf pack. We hear that all the time.
Right.
How do they interact with each other?
Yeah, so wolf pack is a family. wolf packs can vary. And actually, in the fourth book, that's kind of what I delved into, is the different types of families. So at the Wolf Conservation Center, for instance, they do have wolf packs, wolf families that are just siblings. So, usually a family is mother, father, puppies from various different litters, and different ages. And they do act as a family unit, take care of each other. They follow the pack leaders, their parents' orders, as far as, behaving, what they should assist with. But yeah, they act as families, even with the squabbles.
Really? Okay. Well, that sounds like every type of family. I
Yeah.
like that. What about their geographical range? Like, how far does a wolf travel? Do they stick within a certain area? Is that kind of how they grow and live?
Yeah, no, they have a large range, and typically what you see is that they will mark their territory through peeing and pooping.
Yeah.
We go a little bit into that in the second book in the series, the Trumpet,
Okay.
the Miracle Wolf Pup series, where she grows up and learns all about differentiating poop smells. But that's great for kids. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so they'll mark their territory, and it is quite large. So at the Wolf Conservation Center, they're in enclosures. So they have, I think the largest is about 2.5 acres, but in the wild it can be very large. And usually what they found is the wolves that they have collared, they pretty much respect each other's territory. They don't really go across the boundaries that have been created, and they can just see that as tracking the collar, where those wolves are roaming.
So, how did Trumpet end up in New York State?
So these wolves, they noticed that the numbers were going down. I think that was in like the 60s or 70s, and they decided to, save the species from extinction. So they went into the area where they were being seen, which was actually Mexico, and gathered up all the wolves that they could find, and they found 5. And so they gathered them up, and I guess realizing that Mexico was not going to be able to do a reproduction program to save the species, they decided to give the wolves over to the United States, who took them in and started the program a breeding program to replenish the population. And eventually they were re-released into the wild. We celebrate Lobo Week, which is when that was done, third week in March. And now the population is over 200 in the wild, and then they have the captive population. But the challenges are that they are so genetically close. In the wild, they're actually considered full siblings. So we do need geneticists to help maintain the population to, otherwise the species could collapse at some point, but hopefully with scientific methods that won't happen. And most importantly, we need the support of the public to maintain the program.
And to that end, listeners and people that are following the show and we've been buying your books, we can also donate and help and support, right?
Yep, their Wolf Conservation Center is a not-for-profit organization, so they gladly accept donations, they gladly accept volunteers, and of course, spreading the word.
The idea of writing the books, was that after going to the sanctuary and seeing these beautiful animals, you're like, I want to do something about this?
Yeah, so I never envisioned myself writing a book.
Okay.
This fell into my lap. I started learning about Trumpet's story. So Trumpet, Mexican gray wolf, F1505, she was considered a miracle birth. Her father, they had fertility issues. And so when I started learning that aspect of it and how she was discovered, I was like, this is perfect for kids. And it should be, every kid should hear this story. And that's kind of where it started. And realizing the best way to get that out is through a children's book story. I decided to do that, and I donate 50% of my profit back to the Wolf Conservation Center because
Wow.
Trumpet's got to get her 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 effort and her input and benefit from it.
There you go. I'm sure Trumpet is thrilled.
Trumpet does not care one way or the
It's
other.
not what.
Wants to be left alone.
Come on, Trumpet. You got to care about this. This is good. Okay. What about for you as an author? Like, had you written before writing these books for the kids? Like, how did it start for you to actually say, I could do this? I could write a book.
Yeah, no. So I had not written. I've always liked telling stories more in a written fashion, but I've never actually written stories because I myself am the horrible joke teller. I tell the punchline out of sequence. So for me, writing it is a better way of telling a story. So I never actually thought I would write children's books, but it really was just an effort to get her story out that I said, this is the best way.
How did you learn how to do all this then? Because I'm not an author, so you've done something I haven't done. So how do you even come up with the idea and the story, and like what's your starting point?
So the starting point was actually just her story. The outline was there, but this is to a specific audience. This is to children. So obviously the scientific background has to be cut down. I would say the best way to describe this is it's a heartfelt story. I did try to include in some of the books some funny moments. And it's also an introduction to conservation so that young kids could start learning about the idea of conservation without being overwhelmed, which I think sometimes is what ends up happening. And then they're left out of the conversation. So I think this is a great way, especially with different age groups, like maybe an older kid reading to a younger kid, that they can have a conversation about this and both be, intrigued by it. I've gotten good feedback from older kids that they really like the story.
And I saw pictures of you at schools and doing all kinds of stuff in front of kids about the books and stuff. Is that fun for you to go out in the real world and see these readers, these young readers?
It is super out of my comfort zone. So my comfort zone is in dirt and with animals.
Okay.
But it actually has been a growth process. I'm getting more comfortable with it, and the feedback is what really drives that. It's exciting to see the kids excited. I was told by a number of authors, expect, questions like, what's your favorite color? Or, something that's completely unrelated to the story. And I'm just getting questions about wolf related topics the entire time. They're fascinated by it. They love it.
It's a very unique subject. And I guess you'd really have to learn a lot in preparation for these random questions that could come your way. I know when I was a little kid, having an author come to my classroom was like the biggest thing ever. Because like that's an actual author who actually wrote a real book that's in my library and I can have a copy. Like it was pretty cool to meet an adult who wanted to talk to kids. That was so unique. I remember many times those authors in my classroom. So I'm sure anytime that you have an opportunity to go out and talk about your book, it's got to be rewarding.
Yeah, no, it is super rewarding. For me, it was, a little bit like, I'm just me, so, I never want it to be on the forefront, but, this is part of it. And so, I was put in this position, so let's go.
Excellent. Okay. So we have authors who listen to the show. Maybe there's somebody who wants to write children's books. It seems a little intimidating because a typical adult book is basically a cover, a back cover, and a whole bunch of words. You have to not only come up with the story and the words, you got to have help with artwork. And then the audience is very specific. What kind of things would be helpful for you when you were starting to hear from another children's author? What would have been a helpful kind of guideline or suggestions for somebody listening who wants to do what you're doing?
So I was told this by other authors, and I guess I didn't exactly believe it, or it didn't really sink in. But writing the book is going to be the easy part. It's the marketing. It's getting the word out that this book exists. Most people do not know that Trumpet the Miracle Wolf Pup exists, let alone that she has a book. So that, I think, would probably be the first advice. Get ready for some marketing, and, you're going to have to take it at your comfort level, but push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Because, I've been told that's where the magic happens. Once you step out of the comfort zone, that's where it happens. Okay. The second thing I would say is, and you touched upon this, is really think about who your audience is, at what education level, what understanding that they have, and, right within those limits. For me, I definitely had to cut a lot out of the books. And originally, I thought that it was going to be one book. And I was like, this is way, way too long for kids. I thought it was really important to have a book for young kids. For those, a lot of these books about wolves are just a little bit out of their level of understanding. And, some of them may understand it, but a lot of them will get overwhelmed and then end up not liking the book. So I really wanted this book to reach that audience. So just keep that in mind when you're writing the book. What audience are you trying to reach?
Okay. And then talk about the artwork. Like, they're beautiful. The books are gorgeous. Like, how do you have help finding somebody to do the art for you? And what kind of direction do you give that person so that what's the words in your head show up on as actual images? How do you do that?
Yeah, so Maddie Moore, who did the illustrations, she works with my publisher. My publisher is Briley and Baxter Publications. So being new to this, I said, I can't be the go-between as far as, between the publisher and the illustrator, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't, they're talking about formatting and margins, and I'm like, I don't know this stuff. So I was really grateful that the publisher had an illustrator able to do that. And she did an amazing job. She worked with me what my ideas were. I did have some unique ideas. For instance, I really wanted kids to connect with the wolves. So one of the things that I did was I made sure that the people in the illustrations, that you couldn't really see their face. Mm-hmm. So that, it was somewhat covered. Couldn't see the two eyes. But for the wolves, I really wanted them to connect with the wolves. So I had the wolves showing the two eyes, or,
that makes sense.
And that was something that she worked with me on. But, she just has the talent. So she did an amazing job.
Excellent. Does it feel odd to see the book for the first time when it's all done and go, wow, like, this was an idea, these were words in my head, I wrote them down, and now they're an actual book that I can hold? Like, is that a weird feeling for you?
Yeah, it was a weird feeling throughout the entire process. But yeah, it definitely was a weird feeling, but in a really like, oh wow, this is great. Yeah. So, I was just, it was a continuous learning process, but there were moments where I was just like, wow, I have a book. I was that definitely, that was definitely like, okay, never expected that.
Okay, so book 4 is coming out close to the time of us recording this together. So that means there's 4 books to talk about right now. There's potentially more, which I'm excited to talk about. We'll talk about in a moment. But can you kind of break down for us and for the parents listening? We have a whole bunch of books now to read and buy for our kids. We can buy them all, which is exactly what we need to do. But can you kind of take us through book one, and let's jump through and talk about the title of the book and what's in each of the books, just for the readers and the parents listening. They're like, oh, I want to buy all of these. Can we kind
Yeah,
of just jump through them all? Can we talk about them?
sure.
Sure.
So we start off with Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup, and it ended up not having any subtitle. I didn't. That was also something I just didn't think about at the time. So it was just it just has the title Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup, and that's the introduction. Starts off with her parents. It touches on the fertility issue, that they had difficulty having puppies. So, obviously it's for kids. So it doesn't go into the reason behind that. But
Yeah.
it also touches upon that, the staff at the Wolf Conservation Center really wanted puppies. And again, this is for young kids, so we have to keep it minimalistic. It was only 3 people in the book, and that they're upset that there are no puppies and sad. But, lo and behold, you still have work to do. And then, surprise, spoiler alert, there's a puppy. And it just goes through how she was found. So it really is a heartfelt story, an introduction. And when I first kind of gave the book to some people to read, just to kind of like see if they had any critique, a couple of them teared up and they were like, this is really beautiful. And I was like, okay, I was going for heartfelt. I think I got it.
Nice.
But yeah, so the first one is the introduction. I went on to Trumpet growing up. So Trumpet, I wanted to go a little bit up into pup development. Especially, it's really interesting. For wolves, it's a very quick process. They, for the first year, they have to be ready to help their pack survive in the wild. They have to be close to their full size, able to assist with the hunt and not hold the pack down. So they grow up very quickly. But it is an interesting process. They start off super small. They can fit in the palm of your hand. And, they don't have, their eyes are closed, their ears are down, they don't have any ability to hear. So I kind of wanted to go through the different growth stages. And that was a lot of fun to kind of, I put some fun moments in there because it's kind of like the bumps of, growing up. The tumbles that you take, the interesting things that you see all of a sudden. And I did want it to be relatable to kids. So they are seeing birds and hearing the buzzing of the bees just like kids do. So I really took an effort to kind of see how this could be relatable to children.
Nice.
And the third one is Trumpet Finds Love. And that was a really interesting story to write because it is based on the true events. Her mate was flown in from Arizona, and he was flown in by a group of pilots that Light Hawk Conservation Flying. They're a group of pilots that donate their flights to saving endangered species. So if a facility needs an endangered animal to be flown to the wild or to another facility that has better veterinary care, then they'll assist with that process. And as a thank you to them, her mate, Trumpet's mate, was nicknamed Flighthawk. And I said that's the perfect opportunity to alert the public, especially kids, because they would be fascinated by that. They are, that, this conservation group exists, Light Hawk Conservation Flying. And, that's another reason why Trumpet's story is just the perfect way to introduce kids to conservation. And then we have the 4th book coming out. So Trumpet becomes a mom. And this one was great because we do have some great video of these this first litter of puppies that she had. And the cover was based upon one of those videos of the three puppies together. But she actually gave birth to these puppies live on camera. So they have web cameras at the Wolf Conservation Center. So we got to see her caring for these puppies, and she really came into her own. And I actually teared up writing this story because it was such a pivotal moment in her life, and she's just an amazing mom. Even by wolf standards, she's a step above and beyond as far as her caring for her puppies.
Excellent. What kind of feedback are you getting from parents about the book?
Oh, they're loving it. I actually get questions from parents when I do readings at like libraries. And then I've also been informed, like they're telling me this is my kid's favorite story. And then, each book has a howling opportunity. So for a little family howling duo or even a group howl. So they're really liking that part of it too. And so I'm definitely getting amazing feedback from parents.
There you go. It's a howling good time for everyone. I like that. Okay, good. All right. So as you now have 4 books out in the world, the 4th one just coming out, you are the real deal. You're an author. You're published. Like, what kind of doors are opening for you personally? How is this helping with the sanctuary? Like, what kind of opportunities are coming because you're writing these books?
Well, it is quite interesting because, this wolf is getting me to travel more. So yeah, I've been traveling to different states. Actually, her wolf was featured one year or included in at the Bologna Children's Book Festival. So I traveled there. So yeah, she's getting me out there. So she's definitely pushed me as far as my growth. And I mean, as far as her story alerting the public, it's now in a number of libraries. So it's just, if your library doesn't have the book, ask your library to get it. That libraries are an amazing place to open children's worlds up. So yeah, and people have come back to the Wolf Conservation Center and said, yeah, I got the book, so, that's how I found out about the place. So, cause we always joke that the Wolf Conservation Center is like the hidden gem in Westchester. Ironically, they do get visitors from all over the world. And yet, like me, there are a lot of people in the area that don't even know it exists.
That's excellent. I'm glad your family member came to visit and said, "Hey, let's go check this place out," because it opened a whole door for you.
Oh my gosh, it changed my life.
Right? Yeah. Excellent. What about your family and friends too? The people closest to you. What do they say about your new journey as an author? Like, it's got to be inspiring for them too.
Yeah. No, I mean they really say like, "I'm so proud of you," and I'm like, I'm just doing this,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more of a humble person. So, but yeah, they've been very supportive. And, it's been nice to get that feedback, and see the smiles. And, I also, should say like Leokadia George is my pen name. And, I actually kind of honored my family in the sense that Leokadia is my great grandmother on my mother's side, and George is my grandfather on my father's side. So it was nice to be able to honor family, especially I'm writing about wolf families.
Leokadia is a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you.
That's just, what nationality is that?
So that's an interesting thing. So she was born in Poland. They are on the German side, but we can actually we do have information about 6 generations back, and originally they were from France. So we're thinking that it might be from the Latin language, which makes sense, Leocadia.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just not 100% certain. but most, it's not. It's a unique name.
Yeah. No, it's a
Only
gorgeous name.
one other Leokadia.
Yeah, it's very unique, and I'm glad you're honoring your family with that. That's amazing. I always get very curious when authors choose a pen name and how they come across that, and I just think that's really unique. So I'm glad that's another part of your story too.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, I like to spread the
Yeah.
joy, spread the recognition.
Excellent. I'm sure they'd be super proud too to be part of this as well. More books coming from you, so we can anticipate as avid readers, and we're all joining in the pack of joining with you, and we're going to howl along with you. Book 5
Yeah.
down the road. Can you give us some sneak peek, an update?
Yeah,
What's going on?
So, obviously, this is based upon her true story, and she does have puppies that were cross-fostered into the wild. It's something that wolves will take in adopted family members. The way they do that is before they're 2 weeks old, before their eyes open, before they can hear, they can transport a puppy to another wolf family that has puppies of a similar age and put them in the den, and the mom will accept them. And so Trumpet has had that happen. Again, Lighthawk Conservation Flying assisted in that process. So that's what the 5th book is going to be focusing on.
Interesting. The one thing, listening to you and talking about the subject matter of each of your books, there's like a human parallel to some of the stories that we're hearing in the book. So we talk about not being able to have children. We're talking about adoption. We're talking about all these different things, right? Community, family, being a part of a group. All of these things are things that kids would be talking about, dealing with in school, right? So there's like an underlying supporting human side to the story as well that we could kind of really dig into, right?
100%. Yeah. Wolves are super relatable in the fact that of the family structure. And just like, human families would come in all different shapes and sizes, wolves do that too. So, this was a great way to kind of get that empathy, that understanding and relatability, and to know that, wolves are important beings in our world as well. And, I thought that was really important to highlight.
And they're misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are afraid of them. They look like big dogs. Like it's a little bit of maybe hesitation for some people around these beautiful animals, but same thing with humans. Some people are misunderstood. Some people are bigger than you. Like there's a bunch of things going on here. Yeah. So I think it opens the door for us to have conversation with our kids as we read your books to go, some children are adopted. And here's a story about adoption. And some of the kids in your class might be adopted, right?
Yeah.
So here's kind of an underlying story that has a message that we can really adapt to our family as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Was that the intent for you to write it in that context?
It was the intent to highlight families, and I have to say I didn't really think about it that much. It was just her story, and so when I came upon book 4, it was something, there are a lot of wolf families that are not the typical structure in the wild. In order to have puppies, it is that mother-father structure. But there are wolf families that, unfortunately, through death, there's only one mom or one dad. And usually everybody thinks, well, if it's just one dad, he's not going to be able to take care of the puppies. But actually, the Voyagers Project, they did follow a family where the mom unfortunately died. And everybody thought that the puppies would end up dying. And then they caught them on camera walking, and it was the father raised the puppies by himself. Wow. And so hopefully he'll find a new mate. But yeah, this in the wild, you just have to find a way how to survive. So it was just a great way to highlight that families come in all different sizes. And knowing that some of Trumpet's puppies have been adopted is just one way to highlight that.
Well, there's so much to talk to you about, and I'm excited to have you on the show. This is really a lot of fun for me, too. As a grandpa, I've got new stories to share with my kids, which will really, really be fun as well. And we love animals. We love our own pets, but we love going to the zoo and supporting great places that help preserve life for these amazing creatures, right? And without it, like, chances of these specific wolves surviving, very minimal, right? So the amazing work that they do there is just outstanding, that you have those committed people and people like you writing stories to help support them to keep this story going. I love it.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity just to spread the word and let people know about the books.
Excellent. So let's connect people to you, where they can come and find you, and website, social media. Where can we buy the book? All of that information.
Yeah.
Where do you want to send the listener?
So the books can be bought at all online retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and the smaller online retailers. There are some bookstores that are carrying the books, Bedford Books, in the New York area, Book Love, in the Massachusetts area, the Next Chapter Books, it's in Quincy, Massachusetts. Of course, the Wolf Conservation Center has the books there, and you can order them online, or if you sign up for a program with them, you can buy the books in their bookstore. And they're connected all on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You can find more information about me at my author page, either on Amazon, or Riley and Baxter Publications has an author page, and some other events that I've been at. And as far as me, Leokadia George books@gmail.com is my email. So you're more than welcome to email me, and I will respond in hopefully a very quick manner. But I'm gladly welcome to hear an email from you if you're interested in finding out more.
Excellent. Leokadia George, thank you so much for being on Living the Next Chapter. Again, congratulations on a simple idea from a family, friend, and stuff to go visit this amazing sanctuary, and how this has opened doors for you. It's outstanding. And thank you for picking up this mantle and saying, I want to make a difference. I want to help. I want to be a part of the solution. It's a great way to do that. And I'm hoping it inspires someone else listening going, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I didn't know I could. Here's Leokadia, and you're doing it. You're doing it well, and I'm going to follow your lead, and hey, I'm going to go do this as well. So thank you so much for inspiring us today and for writing these stories.
Thank you. Honored to
Excellent. Excellent, everybody. All the information is always in the show notes. Go through, click through, go buy all of the books, not if, but when you buy all of these amazing books. Leave great reviews for each of them individually, so everyone will know why you love them so much. And parents, you pick up your kids at school and you see them in the pickup line, tell them about this episode, tell them about these books, and go tell the librarian at the school, go tell the librarian in your city, and get these books on the shelves for our kids to take out and take home with them. I think it'd be really great. Again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Keep writing, keep sharing your story, and come back in the future. I'd love to have you back as well.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play. As you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee, okay? I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com, and also in the show notes, helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5 kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.